Good evening. Welcome to a Friday night edition of Not Another Rangers podcast. It's 4 sleeps to Christmas, and tonight you've got 3 wise men to talk all things Rangers. Is that debatable? A little bit debatable. I wish I said that to Monday night's episode 2 minutes, 2 days before. So it's been a slow week. There's not been much happening. I don't know if there's much to talk about. There's been very little on the go. There's obviously not been a midweek game. There's a game against Dundee. I wonder how we're going to fill an hour, Ricky. How do you think that will go?
Mate, we'll easily fill an hour, no problem. Let's rant about Dessers. We can rant about who else we can. There's loads of players we can have a go at. Play some Christmas cheer about some of the players as well. There was a B team game through the week. The VAR decision. Review the Dundee game. Christmas. What you're getting for Christmas. What Santa Claus is bringing you in. Easily fill an hour, no problem. My daughter told me today it's 100 hours until Christmas, so she's counting down the hours now. So all good.
There we go. That's dedication for you. 100 hours to Christmas. What about yourself, Scott? How are you?
I'm not bad, Gary. I was off the day because the daughter's up for England today with my son-in-law, so they're down the stairs now. So they're up, I see them up for Christmas. I think they're getting back in Boxing Day. So looking forward to the wee break. Been off. I'm back in next week, but not as often as I should be. But just looking forward to Christmas. I like Christmas. I know we're older, but it's still my granddaughter's was one, so it's good for that age group coming up. And my niece and nephew are still young, so they look forward to it. I'm too old for Christmas, Gary. The big guy in the big red suit doesn't come to me anymore. Half past that. I look like come up with a ginger beard.
I'm assuming you're talking to Christmas time there, Scott. I hope not another deep. You've got there.
You're talking to. I'm just laughing at Ricky there. He said he doesn't know what to talk about. But now Ricky's usually on to next week's preview.
Here, not another Rangers podcast. Santa Claus on the top right there, man. You scruffy deep beat.
No, Rangers big issues selling me.
So Scott, it's 5 days on for 5 days. That's 5 days on. 5 days on since the League Cup final. Do you know as this anger, frustration dissipated yet?
It has, that hasn't, Gary. It's one of the things. I don't think we can ever forget it. I think I read the Rangers statement. You said it me last night, but I read more about it and stuff, and I've seen other comments for like McCoy and Barry Ferguson, and they're seeing it for different. As a fan, you see it different. As an ex-player, you see it differently because you're working in actually the mainstream media. But I think Rangers have got to move on for it, as in if the game's coming up, we have to concentrate on and we have to win. But I think it should always be in the background that they can bring up at certain press conferences. They can bring up when they're playing against them, because they've done it for years against us. Even when they're winning stuff, or even when they're getting everything's going their way, they still bring things up. AGM, like I said before, having documentaries. I think they're famous. I think Tom Boyd was always in different commentary stuff about talking about referees and stuff. So they've done it, and I'm not saying, I know a lot of Rangers fans are like, I don't want to be like that. But sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. Now, I know it's one of these things, and everybody says we get decisions, we don't get decisions, and that's probably true in a way, but I think it was just a mistake, it shouldn't have happened, but it did happen. And there's nothing we can do. I've heard people saying replays and stuff. I think that's taking it a bit too far. I don't think that's going to happen. It's one of these things, just have to move on, look back, and it can give you a wee bit of motivation. But like Clement said, and he has put on Dundee's the time we concentrate now. It's not looking back at the game, how we lost it, whatever. We move on, we look at the Dundee and then we look at St Mirren. But it should always be there, if you know what I mean. So we can bring it up if things go pear-shaped, or we can bring it up in certain press conferences. Just having wee digs or just bringing it up so the media can keep it there, because the media's not going to keep it in the public eye. No for Rangers, because the media's changed them for the last 20 years. So the media's not going to keep it in public eye. But if the decision was the total opposite, it'd be still in the public eye, it'd be still everywhere. That's just the way Scottish media is now, it's just the way football is now in Scotland. But I think we do have to move on, but it should always be in the background just to say, remember this, because we've had it so long, Gary. You and Ricky will know, and you can look back at different games, different mistakes, but I think over the last 10 years, we've had a lot going against us. Listen, we're not the only club. Every fan, every club in Scotland can say that. Do you know that way? And they can say, what about this and what about that, like we all do. But I think because it was a horrendous error, I think they should still bring it up every so often.
Yeah, I would agree. So we'll get back into it. So for those that didn't watch the game, those that don't know anything about it, those that have no idea where they've been living in the moon for the last week, and 3rd minute extra time, Liam Scales fails to control the ball, unsurprisingly, some would say. And Cherny nicks in, wins it. John Beaton, to be fair to him, gives a free kick for holding, gives a yellow card, does the right thing, asks the VAR officials to let him know whether there's anything more untoward, whether it's a penalty. The game restarts exceptionally quickly, Ricky, and at the game, I'm sitting there drama over the North Stand. To me, you're assuming VAR's got it right, move on, nothing to see here. That's what it's there for. As the week progresses, we'll get more into some of the other stuff, but that was on Sunday, that's where we all were until it started to become apparent a couple of hours later. There was maybe more to the decision than there should have been.
The audio, wow. I take it you've both heard the VAR. You've heard the audio, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, fair. I will say, I do appreciate Willie Collum. I was a bit worried when he got put in, and it's okay. Refs are always going to make mistakes and stuff like that, but this wasn't a mistake. Now, they've apologised. They've said sorry to Rangers and all that sort of stuff. But it's the ref and the VAR guy and Connor is apparently they've got the weekend off. They're not going to be doing any matches this week. But how does that help Rangers? When you hear the audio, and I've heard people going, "Well, is it negligent or is it human error? Is it a mistake?" Listen, we know exactly what it is. Someone actually says, you hear someone going, "Penalty, it's a penalty." And then you actually hear them go, "No, outside the box, outside the box. What do you think, Frank? Oh, outside the box, move on. I mean, come on, guys. It was now, for the third goal, if that had been Celtic, right? If that had been Danilo in the box and say he'd been tripped by one of their players, that would have been trip, But because it was Diamande, it was again, Frank Connor had his eyes over Muir's eyes. Oh, nothing to see there. Just move on. And we can all, I'm not going to use the words that we should be using because I don't want to get the podcast into trouble, but we spoke about it before. We were worried about who was going to be in the VAR room, and to be honest, that decision was it wasn't a mistake. They knew exactly what they were doing. It was definite. It was as blatant as you can see, and it has to stop. It has to be a fair playing field when you're playing these matches. You can't have such massive errors in games like this. Like that, John's absolutely spot on. I've never heard a decision made and two guys in a VAR room want to move on so fast in my life. It was incredible the speed they wanted to move on. But what I will say, and I think we said it on Monday as well, our players need to be a lot more streetwise, because McGregor was in the referee's ear from minute one. Our players were never surrounding the ref. Diamande just sat on the ground when the guy had clearly tripped him over. He should have been right in Beaton's face. Cherny, after he got tripped, we were just happy for Tavernier to get over the ball and take the free kick. We should have been at Beaton's ear going, "Look, that was a penalty. Tell them to check that again. That was a penalty." But we need to be a lot more. Same when the penalty kicks were going on. I seen a thing with Derek Ferguson, and he was saying that the players he played with, if Schmeichel was doing that in the box when the penalties were going on, the players would never have allowed it. Somebody would have been right into the ref. Look, get him sorted out. Get this. This is so the whole. There was a lot of things that went on, and I do want to draw a line under it and move on. I sort of agree. We don't want. I hate speaking about this crap. I really do. I hate speaking about referees, conspiracies, and all that garbage. I just want to play Celtic. No goals getting chopped off for absolute a level playing field, a fair match, and whoever they've had the better of us for so many years. They don't even need the ref to beat us, But for some reason, they're getting this help from the referee as well, and it has to change. The ref has to be fair. It has to be a fair playing field. VAR have to get these decisions right. It wasn't even a debatable decision. It was a clear decision that should have been a penalty. And to be honest, I don't even think if we'd scored the penalty, that means that we were dead in extra time. If we probably scored to go 4-3, they probably would have been coming on us a lot more. So it doesn't even mean that we would have won the match, but we should have had a penalty. It should have been a 100% in the box penalty kick to Rangers, but we didn't get it. We move on. But we need to be a lot more streetwise when we play them in 2 weeks' time. Raskin has to be in the referee's ear, the same as McGregor is straight away. And we can't have these decisions. We can't. VAR has to start getting these things right, you know. We pay a lot of money for it in Scotland, and it's got to be a lot better.
Yeah. So sticking with it, Scott, you know, there's a few bits here. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk. I think come Monday, there was numerous Celtic fans trying to say the foul was given for outside the box for the holding. I think numerous referees soon dispelled that and said that was a lot of rubbish. It was a foul dragged into the box. And I think pretty much all referees and people said at that point it was. Apparently, I've heard other arguments, as Ricky says, the Rangers players should have been shouting more. Arguably shouldn't need to, you know, it's a straightforward decision, but I do get the point. So the next couple of days come and you're kind of wondering what's going to happen. And then yesterday out pops the VAR review, which I think is really refreshing, Scott, to see that. And I've never watched any of the other ones, but it was actually quite fascinating watching not just that decision, but the rest of the programme.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of them since they started it. These things, it's like a catch-22 for me. They're refreshing to see, Gary, but when VAR's there, should there still be as many mistakes? They've got a TV screen to watch. They're not just sitting at a game and it's live. The referees get one take to get a decision. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Make that split decision. These guys are sitting in front of TV. They can rewind back. They can change some camera angles. They can take as much time as they basically want. They don't have to be quick. They don't have to be slow. They can take enough time to see if it's a correct. Look at it go at Nice the other week. The decision at Nice, we're looking at a tackle, a penalty for Nice. Do you know what I mean? Remember that? They went back and they took a while. Whereas on Sunday, they just went, it was like they were adamant it was outside. Well, more outside, not just outside, more outside, which means some of it was inside, but it's more outside. I don't get that. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel it's great apologising, but why do you need to apologise when you've got a system in place to stop all this? I know nothing's 100% guaranteed. There's always going to be human error and there's always going to be stuff like that. Candidates, their opinions. But I still feel that audio they released, I don't think that was a full audio. Do you know that? Because it was too crackly and there was words said and then other words you didn't hear and then parts of words I think they released what they want us to hear. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that is a conspiracy in my brain. I felt it was more. Do you know what I mean? I felt there was a wee bit more there. But listen, nothing we can do, like I said. And when I said the other move on, I mean we have to move on to our future games coming up because the last few games I have played well and the team has looked a lot better on the front foot and we look more solid as a unit and we are improving. But still have that there and bring it up every so often, keep it in the limelight. Not all the time, because if you bring it up all the time, people get fed up. But bring it up every so often. But every time you play against them, you bring it up, because every time they play against us, I know that's the same thing. They're constantly, I think was it not last season, this season, Rogers mentioned beating straight away. Yeah. Beating's got to be strong. So you can say that, but because we're talking about this, there's so many fans opposite side are either laughing at us or saying it isn't a penalty outside the box or saying why they constantly about we've had this, we've had that, and that's fair enough. But when something like that is blatant, and I'm not saying 100% blatant because I say there is human error, but I think, and it's the west of Scotland. See if it happens in another part of Scotland or anywhere else in the UK, it's put down as human error. But the west of Scotland is a very funny place, as the 2 years know. When something like that happens with either side, other things can come into play. It's just the way it is here. Yeah. So that's why I think it's not just human error. I think there's something else involved. But the only two that know are Muir and Connor. And you know, they'll probably say it was an error. But I agree with Ricky, was it happened that quickly. You knew they didn't want to give it. It happened too quickly for me. And that when I watched it on Sunday, I was like you, Gary. I thought, well, he's gave it. They must have looked at it and it must have been outside the box. Or they've gave it for the first. But rules change all the time. Sometimes you can't keep up with rule changes. And because the move kept going, he was and his foot was on the line, so it's inside the box. I just think it's one of these things. We can't keep saying, but that happened in 2022, that happened in 2023. They have to make sure things like this don't happen consistently or happen in big games, because it can cause jobs. It can cause issues off field, as we see all the fans outside and stuff like that. So they have to do something to change it, but there's not a lot we're going to get from it. We just have to move on, look forward to Dundee, get 3 points and keep going. But if I was Rangers, I would keep it there. You have to keep bringing things up, Gary, because if you don't, if you say things often enough, people believe you. That's a happens with our side of the city, so we have to do the same.
So, Ricky, just sticking with it, because I know Scott's going to have to move on, but we're doing a pod here, so I'm going to keep going with it for a wee bit longer. So, I suppose Willie Collum comes out and says 4 things that stick in my head. It was an unacceptable mistake. They made the decision far too quickly. It wasn't a hard decision for VAR to get right, and it was they were using leading questions. I think that was the 4 main points he made when he talked about it. You know, and it was very, very critical of the decision. I think the one that sticks out to me, obviously, it wasn't a hard decision to get right, but the speed in which he made it, and me and Scott were at a game last week. And Kilmarnock, maybe there was 2 VARs that lasted about 2 minutes each. So I don't really understand some of that.
The Tavernier, remember the Tavernier offside, and he ran behind. He ran behind, and it's driving you mental. It's like, what are you checking these goals for? The Dundee United when they scored at Ibrox, and the guy was 2 yards onside. He ran behind the Rangers defender and headed the ball in the net, and it took 2 minutes to give the goal. It's like, guys, just take your time. It's the cup final. It's massive decisions. And the worst thing about it is, like, he's running along the line. His foot is on the white line. And the guy's like, oh, outside, just outside, Frank, what do you think? Oh, outside, agree. Like, okay, we've got away with that. You could tell it's like your kid when your kid does something wrong, and your kid doesn't want to tell you, like, oh, daddy, you know, your child is grassing on the sister, and it's like, it was so quick and so pathetic. And you're right, it's great that Willie Collum was coming out, and it's great what we're getting all with this. Willie's trying to be different, and Willie's trying to. But I thought some of the interviews, I thought that Ian Maxwell, his interview was absolutely shocking. You know, nothing to see here. Everyone. And Rodgers as well today. I mean, I so hope Clement can get us back on track and get us as the dominant team in Scotland. Because looking at his smug puss on Sky Sports, every team gets decisions. Last time it was the handball that was offside. You know, that even that one they couldn't get right. It was like offside 45 minutes later when they managed to find an excuse.
That's missing the point. The point was it still should have been given as a penalty.
Exactly. It still should have been given as a penalty, and then went back and went, okay, it was offside. We could handle that, you know. So these decisions are not difficult decisions that they're ballsing up. You know what I mean? I would like to see. It's never going to happen, but I would not foreign refs, but I would like to see maybe a foreign team in the VAR room, just to give it that little bit of balance when you're doing massive Old Firm games and stuff like that, because I think there's too many, there's so much, like they've done such a good job of getting their tentacles in so many positions in Scotland, and the refs are so terrified to give anything against them. It's been going on now for at least 5-6 years, where every decision the refs are just terrified to give any bad decision against them. And it's not like and this is not like, if you look at all the statistics for like the amount of fouls Celtic give away, it's like yellow cards, red cards. It's unbelievable how all the other teams are in balance in the league for red cards and how many fouls committed and everything. And they're like everything. They're at the bottom of everything for. It's like it doesn't even looking at it. It doesn't make sense, you know.
So see,
I think you've got to do, Gary. I think you've got to do. I know that they can't do it here, obviously, because of the size of the countries. There's not as many referees, but I know in England you can't referee. Every referee has to declare who is supporter, who the boy, who club was, and if that's your team, you can't support them or support anybody who's a main rival. But England's got enough refs. I'm sure that's in play down there.
What about the guy that gets sacked? He's looking for a job, is he not?
Aye.
And he knows where the white lines are, allegedly.
I don't mind him. He doesn't like Liverpool. I quite like him for that. No, but up here, there's not enough referees to do that. So
there's not enough referees, Kerr. They're all over Masons. They're all over Masons are in the Catholic Church. So
you're going to get referees up here for our linesman who, like Connor, people say beats the Rangers fan. I'm not 100% sure if he has. It might be, it might not be. Connor's used to be part of the Celtic supporters club in Shorts, by all accounts. I don't really know. But if you've got other referees there, he supports there, it's going to happen because everybody who grows up into football is going to follow a team. So it's understandable. But there's not enough referees here to say, right, use 5 Rangers fans, use 6 Celtic fans, whatever. There's 3 Aberdeen fans, 3 Scotland fans. You can't referee your teams, and you can't referee or be a part of the game against their main rivals. You can't do that in Scotland because there's not enough bigger pool of referees. So you're going to have instances where that happens, and that's where they have to be professional. But in instances like that, obviously, the professionalism goes right out the window and it pulls at the heartstrings and they make a decision in 29 seconds.
Yeah. Now, see, in terms of just picking up, you said there about Ian Maxwell, Ricky said, I thought it was quite interesting. I forgot to pick up on him. You know, the was the chief executive of the SFA came out and basically did say, mistakes happen. Don't worry about it. I mean, it was a bit of a joke. I mean, from a showpiece game, probably one of the biggest games of the season, you should at least be saying, Joe, we are disappointed that this has an impact on the game.
Exactly, because for both teams, we don't want to be. I mean, this is boring, Gary, for all 3 of us, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody, we don't want to be talking about, I don't want to be talking about Muir and Connor, and I don't even, you know what's so refreshing, like when we play on a Thursday night in Europe, we play well, and most of the time, you don't even notice the referee. You always come away from the game and you're thinking, you know what, that ref was all right tonight and VAR was pretty good. There's none of this 3 minutes for okay, you get the odd crazy decision like the penalty the other week, but most of the games in Europa, you come away and you're like, okay, you don't even think about the ref. You enjoy the game and you're like, okay, that was enjoyable. Great atmosphere. We won the match. We played well. You don't even speak about the ref, but you go every time we play Celtic, and Rodgers is going on about it. There's always a narrative after every game, and he's right because the decisions are absolutely diabolical. Some of these goals that are getting chopped off, like Morelos is and Roofs, and like some of them are absolutely ridiculous. And then exactly the same thing happens on the other side, and it's not even looked at like until after you see it in the newspaper 3 days later, or you're speaking about it 3 days later. You know, Maxwell can't just sweep it under the carpet. He's in charge of the SFA. His attitude that this is the first time someone spoke about a decision of VAR this year. Last year it was every week, so we must be getting better. Is like just putting his fingers in his ears, right? But that's, to be honest, all the people that run Scottish football are absolutely tin pot anyway. Doncaster, Maxwell, the other guy that's at the SFA, I mean, they're absolutely stealing a living, these guys. So it's no surprise that's the answer you get from them, you know?
So, you're right. I mean, we don't want to spend it as boring talking about it's done, you can't do anything about it, can't solve it, it's never going to go away. I think, back to Scott, then, I think Ricky says that's, in fact, to my recollection, that's now the 5th goal in the last 18 months that's been disallowed. You can argue, people can argue as much as they want, therefore we're subjective, given it for fouls as opposed to material things. We've also had a couple of penalties denied. So, but this is one that's been factual and it probably gives a different leading into something. Where do we go then? There's a no firm game 2 weeks from today. What would you do in your wisdom if you were in charge of Rangers to make sure that the message get put across?
Just keep bringing things up, Gary. It's all they can do. They can't do a lot more than that. They can't pick a referee. They can't bring in other people for VAR. But going back to it, Colin was adamant it was a mistake, and he blatantly threw Connor and Muir under the bus, didn't he?
Yeah.
But they're only missing 1 weekend and they're back at it. Is that because there's not enough people to replace them, or is that just coming out to be a show of strength to say this is what I believe in, this is what's happening? But you 2 lads take a week off and he's can come back fresh because hopefully it's people forgotten about it. And I should, if it was that bad a mistake, surely they should at least maybe put in a championship for a few months. Do you know what I mean? I know it's not in the championship for a few months just to get them back down to the ground and say, listen, you want to step up again, you have to
I heard, so we're speaking about this, I think it was on the Rangers review today, and I think this is interesting. I actually think you should go further than that. I think you should put them down to the bottom division, and I'm being serious. I think you should put them to Gayfield, Arbroath, December, -30 wind speed. Because that's giving them the weekend off is not consequences, because they'll probably I think Muir's full time. I think he's full time VAR, so he's probably still getting paid. He's probably still got a basic salary and then he gets paid. So like giving them the weekend off is not a punishment for me. For me, get them down to Arbroath, get them to East Fife, get them to a ground like that where they actually have to suffer for a couple of weekends, so that they know, oh Jesus, if I make this mistake again, there's actual consequences for their actions, so that there's consequences if you do. Because if I muck up that bad, if I did that at my job, man, I might go straight away to last written warning. If I make a mistake that big at my job and just I see something and just don't act, then I'm straight to last written warning for sure, Giving them the weekend off is not a punishment for making such a bad mistake in a cup final and embarrassing the whole league, It's on Sky Sports every day. Comont was speaking in the press conference today, saying he's been people contacting him from Belgium and saying like they've seen it and it's unbelievable and stuff. So it's like
whole world's talking to him.
The whole world's spoken to him, and all the international players have been getting texts and phone calls.
Not one person mentioned Dessers.
So, I'm going to pick up a question. John asked that did Michael Stewart saves a penalty? Yes, he did. He saves a blatant penalty during the week there. He did, to be fair to Michael Stewart.
Everybody did. Even Tom English said it, and I know he can be a bit controversial at times, but he said it straight away, and even had a dig in social media saying with everybody else who didn't agree with me for my line and apologise, because he said straight away it was a penalty. So it's just one of the things, and it's no great, but I said before, Rangers are going to have to keep it there, bring it up every so often. But as a fan base, it hurts, and it hurts us probably more because we were doing well in the game, but we can't keep looking back. We can't, because before we know it, it'll be the next game at Ibrox against them, and something else could happen. So we'll have to move forward, but keep it there, and just before the Celtic game at Ibrox, bring it up again and say hope decisions last don't happen today, just to put it fresh in the minds of VAR.
I do every day on Rangers Facebook page showing one of the disallowed goals.
I repeat in Rangers TV
Monday to Friday.
Aye. No, Gary, what we need to do is we need to take the first half performance against Celtic. Well, we're 1-0 up. We're probably the better team in the first half. Yeah. For the first time, probably under Comont, we actually were in a position where, if it wasn't for Thursday night, we could have kept that going. That's what we need to take out of that game on Sunday, not we were cheated or the referee hinged us. Because, as I said, I don't even think we would have went on. If it went 4-3, for me, they would have just piled on more pressure. We were dead in extra time anyway, so it was a bad decision, move on. But what we need to take from the game is the positives, because we did score 3 goals against them. We did find a way to nullify McGregor, and they looked completely lost playing through the lines. So you know that their best players, that guy Kuhn on I think he was playing on the right-hand side. We need to nullify him. We need to nullify him because at Ibrox, because he is the danger man. And Tav did fine. Tav had a good game. So there was a lot of positives. There was a lot of positives for Comont. We've got the full support behind us. We need to beat them on the second. Forget about referees. If we get 2 goals chopped off, we need to beat them 4-0. And it'll be 2-0, We've just got to find a way to get that. We've got to take the positives from the game and not dwell on, the ref didn't give us a penalty or the third goal should have been chopped off. Concentrate on the positives that we can actually influence in the match, and go and give them a good, go and show that we have beat Dundee this weekend. I think we've got 2 free games before we play them. 3 games before we play them.
On the 26th.
Get the 9 points in the bag.
Then is it Motherwell?
Motherwell as well.
2 away games. Dundee and then 2 away games.
Yeah, exactly. So get the 9 points.
You need to win the 2 games before you can even talk about Celtic again.
Yeah.
So let's move through the rest of the week then, right? So before we get to the Dundee preview, so we had the new chief exec, Scott, started on Monday, and he done a little bit of a press conference, a sanitised Rangers TV 6-minute interview, whatever it is, as these things always are. he came across reasonably well, answered some questions, said he talked the usual game that you do with these things. And probably the bit that most interested me was when he said that I'm sure the Rangers fans want me to actually just do things as opposed to talk to them about things. Which is probably the most crucial part, that he does things successfully rather than just tells you what he might be going to do.
Listen, like I say, he can only come into the job Monday. It's going to be a while before he gets right into it, because you can't. We've gone to the days where we just look at the transfer board coming in and look at the team. Now we're looking at everybody behind the board. That's one of the things football's went. I think it's going to be time if we actually see what he implements. You can't just do everything straight away, do you know what I mean? But I think it's good that he's taking the role of getting involved in other stuff, and it takes the manager's mind off it. Because we need guys there, and he's experienced enough to know how to run a football club and how to do stuff. So listen, it's a good appointment with Rangers. He seems to know his stuff, and all we can do is let him do what he can, let him do his job and see how well he does it. Yeah, because it's been a long time since we've had somebody there, and like I say, he worked at Man United for years, so he kind of knows the role, and he's been at other places. So it's not like he's coming in for, I know we like with that boy at St Mirren the last time. It's a total different kettle of fish being at St Mirren, being at Man United. So good luck to him, because he might need it, but it's good to have somebody there, Gary, because we always needed that wee bridge between the board and the manager and the management team, and then the CEO. Do you know what I mean? So we need somebody in the middle to kind of bind it all together. Obviously, the chairman's in as well, but he's a non-executive role, but there's still something in there as well.
Yeah. So Ricky, what you need is that he's got pedigree. Basically, he's got whatever many years he's worked at Man United. He will be scrutinised. He'll be heavily scrutinised, and there'll be lots of discussions about the decisions he makes. But fundamentally, what you want him to do is just to run the strategy, run the business at the background, and let them come on, back the team, and go on with the games.
Yeah, no, a few things that I've liked so far. I like the fact that he is going to be based. Actually, he's going to be day-to-day involved. So he's going to be between Ibrox and the training ground, which I think is excellent. So, I mean, I don't understand this chairman that we're bringing in that's a non-executive, that lives in London, that's running. You know, I would rather that we need people that are actually right involved in Rangers, right in the nuts and bolts. And also, Comont's press conference was very interesting today. A lot of questions he was sort of refusing to answer, and he was saying, I caught just before we came on the pod, right, the second half of his press conference, and a lot of the times he was saying, "No, I'm not answering that. Ask Patrick," you know. So it was quite even about. I mean, they were doing his head in about Willie Collum, and he says, "No, ask Patrick. That's Patrick's going to speak about that now. So just save that for him." So that's good. So he's going to be concentrating on the first team. And that can only be a good thing, you know, because for too much, we've been putting way too much on the manager. So hopefully now we're starting to put the right pieces in place, and we can start getting the pieces on the chessboard, so we can actually start moving the chessboard in the right direction. Because for so long it's been a bit. He did say today he's not sure what's happening in January and stuff like that. He's going to have to speak to Patrick and stuff. So hopefully they've been speaking and they've got plans, and he is going to be back to bring in at least 2 or 3 players in January.
So sticking on that, Ricky, I'll stick with you. You know, so John Suter is injured. I'm not sure. I've not caught quite how long he's out for, but it seems to be quite quiet.
He said he didn't want to give an exact time scale because he said the medical team don't want me to tell you. But he said he was given the cryptic. It was cryptic. You have to guess, work the puzzle out. He said he's definitely out for all of December, going into January, and he's not sure if he's going to be back in January or what the situation is there. So he's definitely going to have to sign another centre back for sure in the January window. So it looks like, to be honest, end of January. So. And the thing is with Comont, you know how slow he is at getting players back after they've been out for a couple of months. So I don't think you're going to see John Suter again until probably going into February, to be honest.
So on that basis, Ricky, we've only got Leon Balogun and Robin Propper. You've also got Leon King and Clinton and Salah, who haven't really reported. We're now apparently looking at buying every Moroccan player under the sun, and there was a centre half been linked in. Now that Your Moroccan knowledge, Moroccan
Oh,
league knowledge.
I love Moroccans, man. Bring them all in, man. Get that restaurant full in Glasgow. Get that man. He'll be the richest man in Glasgow, that Moroccan guy. He'll be translating for 4 or 5 of them. No, apparently we're not signing that centre-half, but there was another couple of players that were interesting that we were linked with. But so basically, the way that I'm looking at it, I don't think we're going to sign that, but we definitely do need a centre-back to come in January. I don't know if any is watched. Did you watch the B-team game?
Watch a little bit.
I mean, I didn't.
I thought King done all right. I thought King was all right, actually.
You thought he was all right? I thought he was a
20 minutes.
little bit. I thought he was a little bit. I didn't. I think the manager said it today. Like he said, he wasn't impressed at all. Like, you know, he was sitting there with the scouts and stuff like that, hoping for a player to jump out. And I actually thought the B team were quite lucky to win that 3-2. If I'm being honest, I thought they were all right in the second half for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Bailey Rice had quite good control of the game, and then after that, I thought it was all Celtic, but we sort of scored on the breakaway with Lovelace and stuff like that. But so there is a lot of business to be done in January, but it depends who we get out, mate. You know, we need to get your Matondo out, we need to get your Dessers out, we need to get these players out that are on huge salaries, and if we can, Yilmaz as well. I agree with Kerr. I would be trying to move on Yilmaz. I would be trying to move on Dessers, and I would be trying to move on Matondo if we could, mate, because that's big wages. There's value in at least 2 of them. You can get money in for them, and then that way you can reinvest that in the squad.
So, I think, as I say, we're certainly in the centre back, Scott. We are 10 days away from the transfer window open, I think, 10, 11 days. In terms of priorities, we may not have a lot of money, but what are the priorities to bring in?
Centre back is the first one we need to bring in. I know we've been linked with midfielders. That's no urgency for me. I think with the midfielders we've got at the moment, we're doing okay. That doesn't mean we don't need one, but it's no an urgency. I think we need a centre back, maybe 2, but definitely need 1 coming in. We've also maybe need a right winger. I know Tierney's there, but just McCausland has to get on loan or maybe whatever. And maybe not a striker if Dessers goes. But I think priority is a centre back, because if Suter's injured, we don't know is he going to come back and stay. Balogun's getting on a bit, so I know everybody says he struggles to do 3 games, and he probably does. And Leon King, has to go out and loan or be sold, because I think he's stagnating. I don't think he's getting any better. I think he's actually getting down the way, because he's sitting on a bench guard every week. He's not doing anything, and that's not going to help him for his career. And it's not going to help us either. So there's a few players I think we need to get rid of: Dowell, Matondo, McCausland, maybe on loan, King, Lowry. These guys aren't doing anything but are taking a wage.
Yeah.
So, and some of them are getting hefty wages, and if that wage come off, you could bring in others, even in loan, or bring in, maybe give them more money if you're going to buy somebody. So I think we have to look at ins and outs, but a centre back to me is the most important one at this moment in time. Listen, the squad are doing well, but we're playing a lot of football, so you never know, 1 or 2 injuries we struggle again. So a centre back and maybe a striker. Midfield are actually okay at this moment in time. I mean, I like to see Cole McKinnon being involved a lot more in the first team. I know it's hard to get minutes because for some reason Clement doesn't want to give him yet. Hefty gets game played every week and he's only 20. But Cole McKinnon needs more involvement. Rice as well. Lovelace, I thought, took his goal really well. I thought he changed the game when he came on. He's a presence up front. He's strong. He's direct. And I thought he could probably do the same stuff that Dessers is doing, because Dessers isn't playing a lot of football now. But coming off the bench and giving you that wee bit of impotence near the end of a match, or if you're looking for fresh legs, which I thought in the cup final, Dessers come on and really get involved. Apart from getting booked and really get involved. And Dessers on a good wage, plus he's 30, so if you get him for a good fee, you bring in somebody who's younger. I think Lovelace is out of contract as well at the end of the season, so maybe giving him a new deal or see how he goes, or it puts him in the short window as well. So I think there's a wee bit of jigsaw puzzle to be made by Clement and Klopp and whatever with players in and out, because the squad does need, I know he keeps going about it, new squad, but we need new players in, we need players out. But January's not the best time for me, because there's guys here that teams want rid of. It's their scraps, and whoever maybe gets in gives the most money. There's also other players you can maybe sign, but a lot of them are out of maybe contract in the summer. So do you go in and pre-sign somebody for the summer? Do you go in and say that I'll train a pre-season contract and then I'll try and nick you for a couple of 100,000 or whatever. So it's a difficult one, Johnny, but we do need a centre back in, Gary, because Balogun's age and because Suter's injury, and let's say Leon King. I mean, I think if Kate and somebody else get injured, I think Stirling would been before King to play centre back. I think that's the way the manager's going to go now.
So, and in some ways, Ricky, that's quite scary. Joe King, 2 years ago, he played 20, 30, 40 games at Riz, and obviously that Champions League experience, but under 21 international, highly touted. His careers went downhill rapidly over the last 2 years, really.
But I think, honestly, and you can't even blame Comont, but I think Comont sort of goes round in circles, because he says the B team, he's like, okay, the players are no good enough, the gap is too big. He says he doesn't want to send them on loan because he's got no control of them if they go on loan, and they're going to be playing football that might not be compatible with the way Rangers play football. But we don't want to rejoin the Owen League. We're not going to get in. We've spoke about this before. We're not going to get in the Championship. So forget that idea and stuff like that. So it's like, so what are you going to do? This is what our B team is, you know. These are the games, like the cup games are over now, so they're going to be playing glorified friendlies until the end of the year. So I think the time has. I like McKinnon. I always like McKinnon as a player. I like King. I liked Wildy, but I think we've missed the boat with them. They should have been out on loan. I think like Wildy should have been out on loan years ago. King should have been out on loan years ago. And McKinnon should have been. He went out to Partick Thistle, so he should have been that sort of similar loan. But we've just been chucking them in the B team playing this games and stuff like that, and they're stagnated so much, all three of them, that it's like you're already, they're at the age now where they're not going to make it at Rangers, so they're already looking. Their careers are like, who was the last one? I remember a few years ago won the Glasgow Cup, and I can't remember the guy's name.
Guy Kennedy or
McPake, that was the one. Yeah, these sort of guys were. Like, they were outstanding. They were outstanding, and you were like, Jesus, okay, they're brilliant. Get them in there. And look at McPake is playing. Oh God, like there's St Johnstone, but he's not even getting a game for St Johnstone, you know. So it's like the academy. Our academy has been a problem for a long, long time, and how you solve it. I mean, hopefully, Comont has got some good ideas how we're going to solve it. But I just don't think we're playing Dundee tomorrow. We'll be getting to the preview soon. I would like to see Robbie Fraser on the bench. I would like to see Lovelace on the bench, you know. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think you're going to see Dillon on the bench again. You're going to see Dessers on the bench again. Matondo's going to be there now. Cortez is going to be there now. So it's very difficult for how are these guys supposed to learn and get better? And you're speaking about now about Finlay Curtis, about Fraser, about the players that actually are doing well in the B team, and they're still miles away from getting. They get the token. They may as well be the mascot. They get to warm up in Europe and bounce about on the pitch, but they never got on. You know what? Rice got on for about 5 minutes. It was like he'd won a competition. We need to be. For me, when these guys are like 17, 18, you need to be getting them out on loan. You know, even if the level's too high, get them in the Championship and get them playing, because there is teams in the Championship that do play good football. You know. Yeah. Ayr United play good football. Falkirk play good football. There's teams in the Championship that play. They're not all playing kick and rush, you know. So it's like, come on, we need to be doing better, you know. But it's like, who's in charge? I mean, I think Davy McCallum's in charge of the youth, and is he qualified to be? Because he's been there for years. So it's sort of, to me, that I don't really. I know the B team's been playing good football, and that's one thing. But I don't think he's got the vision to suddenly change it, to get these suddenly, okay, well, I've got these great ideas, the players, suddenly I'm going to be, there you go, there's an Alan Hutton, there's a Barry Ferguson, there's a Billy Gilmore, you know. And also one thing before we move on that's really annoying is you see now, Igamani's been in our team 2 minutes and he's getting linked with Everton and all sorts of teams, and it's like, it just shows you, like, are we really at a level now that we can't even enjoy a player for a full season before he's going to get taken away? And I know it has to be the player trading model, and we want to be selling players for decent money and everything, but at least let us enjoy the Moroccan Prince for at least 2 seasons before you sell him for big money, you know? Because it's the teams are linked with him already. It's crazy.
So Everton or whoever offers you 10 million, Ricky, in January, do you take it?
You have to after what happened with Morelos, and no, you do though. You do. Like it's after what happened with Morelos and Ryan Kent. I mean, you're almost in a position where you have to accept it, and that's just it's you can't afford to. We can't afford to. Like, if something happens and he breaks his leg or he loses form, I mean, we robbed Everton with Patterson. I thought we got an unbelievable deal there. So you've got to accept it if someone puts 10, 15 million on the table, you know.
And that's the gamble. So I suppose that moves us nicely on to the Dundee game. So we are come on to his press conference today, as did Nadeem Bajrami. I don't know if you've watched him, Scott. Come on. We spent about 15 minutes of it talking about the Willie Collum thing. But other than that, the bits that stuck out to me, he talked about young players doing well, the team forming together. I'll smile when I say this, Ricky. He said about Tabs playing the best he's seen since he joined. I think was his words. But he was, I suppose, making the point that the team was forming and need to continue this upturn in performances.
We have, Gary, but like I say, take a game at a time. I'm not going to look too much forward because I think there's still mistakes going to be made by Clement and the team. I think that's just the way they are. But listen, we are playing a lot better than we were. If they done the United game on, we've been playing a lot better. But we can't look too far ahead because you know what this Rangers team can give us, but we also know what they don't give us. But the only thing that annoys me with Clement, he still says new team. And to me, that's not a new team because there's a lot of players there that were there before him. So that's just my updating it. But I kind of know what he means, but that's not an excuse not to be doing well, if you know what I mean. No, I mean, I only spoke about Agaman there. If you get money, you take it. I think if you get £10 million, you have to take it. I think we can't afford not to, just for the fact that I think that's the way football is. In England, they've got that cheese. If they can spend £10 million on a guy, maybe never play for them. That's the kind of money they've got down there. We can't afford to do that. I don't want to sell him because I think there's a lot more to come for the lad and we could probably get more, but that's just the way football is. You've seen it with some of the academy lads coming through. We didn't even get a game, but I think Aston Villa took James Wilson the trick. And then there's a
Rory Wilson.
Sorry, James Wilson plays with Hearts, doesn't he? And Rory Wilson and Billy Gilman stuff like that. So I think even if you played like some of the academy boys or the B team boys and they've done well, there'd be teams down there interested because that's the way they operate. They look at the younger lads and like Rice, McCannon and that Lovelace. If you played them and they've done well in a couple of games, you get suitors coming in and saying, "These boys aren't bad out, keep an eye on them." But we don't do that. We don't give these guys a chance. Then you get a manager, know what to send them out on loan, and it's just a vicious circle. And the guy leaves and there's no way to go. Or they end up with a good career, obviously, some of them, but you just don't know where they'll go. But I think tomorrow he's got to keep the teams very similar to what he's been having. He can't go back to one up top. He's got to keep the three. He'll maybe only play one hole. It just depends on fitness, depending on the niggles. I know he said there was a bit of the virus kind of fluging about the building. So who's feeling fit goes. But it's a must-win game, Gary. Doesn't matter it's Dundee, doesn't matter it's at home. These games can trip you up. We've seen it in the past. They have to go out and get 3 points and nothing. They can't even think about anything else. And I think if it goes out with 3 up front and playing attacking wise, we will. But if he tampers too much or maybe brings in Dessers or goes with the 2 sitters, it doesn't work for me. So we've got to keep being in the front foot the rest of this season. We've got to keep going with teams need respect like we have done the last few weeks and just go for it. That's what we need to do. You've seen a difference like Kilmarnock at home for United at home. I know we created a lot of chance against United, but it was hanging the half and puff scenario. Whereas Kilmarnock, yeah, they were poor, but we made them poor as well. So I think he knows what works and what doesn't. So I'm just hoping he stays that way. And he did say Cortez was going to be on the bench. He won't start, but hopefully he'll get minutes. So that's probably double by there as well, which that's a mind boggler to me. And it's no disrespect to Kieran Dillon, I keep saying it, but he's there and he could be back in England playing or whatever. And you could have somebody else on the bench, one of the younger players, and say, here's 5 minutes, go and just finish up the game. I'd rather give you 5 minutes to somebody for the B team and get to Kieran Dillon, because Kieran Dillon doesn't really, he's not going to be here next season. You're probably saying it myself, I want to go and play first team football on a regular basis. So I don't know why Clement keeps putting him on the part. It's one of the ones we'll never know the answer to. And somebody's asked me if I'm drifting away to Mars. I've just passed Uranus, and it's
yeah. Wait until you hear my team for tomorrow.
Before you go into that, Ricky, then, do you think it's more than a must-win? Do you think it must perform well as well?
Every game's must win. I mean, come on, it's still walking a tightrope, mate. Let's get things right. Just because we had a purple period after Dundee United, if people think that Comont is out of the woods, then they're living in cuckoo land. I mean, people are excited again. I know I've heard a few podcasts. People are excited to go to Ibrox tomorrow because they want this exciting football to be continue with us fast. Because we've got players on form now. Tavernier is on form now, Gary. No way is anyone saying anything bad about Tavernier now. Even Curry in the comments is going, oh, he's been good. He's been on form almost, you know. So it's Christmas, Curry. So be nice to our captain, okay, for Christmas. So, no, honestly, mate, for me tomorrow, Dundee at home, Jack Butland in goal, Tavernier right back, Sterling right centre back with Balogun, Yefte in midfield, only Raskin sitting, Haji, Bajrami as the two, and then up front you've got Igamane, Danilo and Cherny. Go for the throat with Dundee. Sterling and Balogun can push up and one full-back can sit. We've got plenty. We don't need Diamande tomorrow. We don't need Barron tomorrow. I'm okay if he plays Diamande and he takes Bajrami or Haji out, but I'd like him to start both and just absolutely smash Dundee 6-0.
I think what players are missing there. So,
Ricky, did you not name 12 players there? Am I getting further away?
No. Tav, Sterling, Balogun and Yefte at the back. Raskin sitting. Bajrami and Haji. That's three in midfield. Cherny, Danilo and Igaman up front. That's three. That's your three strikers.
Right. So no Diamande, no Barron, no
No
Redvan.
Diamande, no Redvan's. Jesus, man. We've got one sitter. No, Yefte's in there. You're winding me up now, man. Yefte, Balogun, Sterling, Tav at the back. 4 defenders. Absolutely go for it, man. Forget about Diamande. Forget about Barron. They're not needed at Ibrox. Okay, Diamande's on form, but I'd love to see Bajrami and Haji. Haji was actually... I didn't think he was really dogged last week, you know. Yeah. So he showed that he can play in midfield. He can. You don't need Diamande. You don't need Diamande or Barron sitting and trying. Dundee, we can easily just all out attack against Dundee. It's going to be. We can get a good win and keep that good form going, you know.
So Scott, what Butland, Tav, and other 9 attackers are you playing?
To be honest with you, I'm very similar to Ricky here. Maybe probably announce that side or Diamande would probably start instead of maybe Barami. But you could. I think Barami played well last week as well. To a point, I think he done really well. He done what he was brought in to do. He scored, but I think he was getting involved. He was creating things. He's making a lot of runs that weren't picked up because we're looking for somebody putting the long ball into him, and we're only doing it often enough. But we have to go attacking wise. Dundee are dogged. They're going to come. They've got guys that can hurt you in the break. They're going to come and sit. And if the longer the game goes on, you know yourself, it can get frustrating. The fans at Ibrox can suddenly, and I've done it myself, and go from happy 1 minute to shouting, "Come on, here we need a goal," and very quickly. So we need to get an early goal and just get the game over done with, Gary. It's a Saturday before Christmas. Get a good 3 points and then go and enjoy yourself until Boxing Day, because it's our own home game until we play them. There are 2 games in a way, so it's 9 points we should be getting, but football doesn't work like that. Nowhere is this season, so there's no point looking forward to the 2nd of January yet until we've collected these 9 points. Do you know what I mean? So we'll have to beat these 3 teams, but these 3 teams only want to make it easy for us, especially starting with Dundee. They've done okay this season. They can be difficult to beat, but we know they are beatable, and the way we've been playing the last 3 or 4 weeks, we should be beating them. But it's not a certainty. We have to make sure it is. We have to turn up and beat them. We just can't turn up and expect it.
Do you think, Ricky, then, on the basis that we've got, this is the home game against Dundee, and you've then got another three congested, that's your list of the next couple of weeks. If we're going to make changes and rotate the squad tomorrow, is probably the day you would do it. Guys like Cherny are looking a bit tired. Balogun usually struggles to play 2 games a week. You've got Igaman, who looked a little bit tired last week, as we said. Danilo's still come back to fitness. You know, there's I suppose if you are looking at making changes with Dundee at home, when you bring in some of the guys like McCausland, like Bessers and two up front, or like Yilmaz, whoever it may be. Do you know, is that the game tomorrow to do it?
I get what you're saying, but we've had a week. You know, I mean, I don't know where we went for our Christmas. I'm sure the players were away for their Christmas night out this week. I'm sure they were for a few days. It was awful quiet. Footballers are not like they were in the olden days. We've not got your Charlie Miller and your Gascoignes causing absolute carnage around Europe, you know. But no, for me, I think Coman is not in a position where he can be. And who are you going to bring in, man? I mean, fans, imagine you see that team sheet tomorrow and Barron is starting Maraskin or Dessers is up front or Dowell was on the right, man. Fans would be, I mean, that's the Christmas ruined, you know. That's Christmas over. Cancel Christmas, put the tree back in the loft and cancel Santa Claus. Coman's ruined Christmas for everyone, you know. So for me, you need to see that team keep full strength, mate. You've got and the thing is, the games are quite far apart, right? So you've got we're playing tomorrow, and then we're playing on Thursday, Boxing Day, and then we're playing next Sunday, and then the Celtic game on the 2nd must be Friday, is it? Thursday. And that's 3 o'clock on a Thursday as well, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
No, I think it's going to be moved for the TV. I think I'm going to be talking.
I saw something today saying they were keeping it 3 o'clock for the TV because it was. I don't know. Maybe there was
police advice because we see my
normally it is early because of the alcohol thing and stuff like that, and especially now with these young the Union Bears fighting the Green Brigade in Glasgow. It's like, come on, guys, man, you know. It's quite back to the dark ages. It's quite sad to see. So
go and pick a field and fight your heart's content.
Exactly. Go and pick a field and you go and pick a gypsy campsite and they'll video it and sell it pay-per-view. So for all the masses, man, you know. So no good. We don't want to see stuff like that. So no, for me, Gary, full strength. We need to keep that good feel. Good. I'm excited to see Eggman. I better say I saw Robert Burnley having a go for pronunciation, you know. Eggman and Bar Rami. I want to see these guys at Ibrox, and obviously I live abroad now, but I used to love going to Ibrox at Christmas time. I remember one year we beat Hibs with Gascoigne, and it was freezing, it was snowing when he got up with the yellow card. I think that was on Boxing Day. It was so much fun. It's great that time of year. Everyone's had enough of their family. They're excited to go. Obviously, Boxing Day we're away, but just this time of year, it's great with the football and stuff like that. So keep the good feeling going. Keep the good form going. We've got 2 tough away games, and we need 3 victories. I want us to be on the 2nd of January, 8 points behind Celtic, bare minimum, not 11 points like we are now. 8 points, bare minimum. And then start to, the league's probably done, but at least put a little bit of pressure on them. And their fans are starting to get annoyed with the way they've been playing. They're sort of saying that they're slipping into Rodgers from last season. It's not as electric as it's been. So their fans are like, they got away with one in that cup final. Okay, they're giving it the big bravado that if Rangers can't beat us when we play that bad, they're never going to beat us. But they're worried about their form. So hopefully teams in Scotland can grow a set of balls and actually put up a performance against them. A lot of these teams are beat before they go on the park against Celtic. They're so pathetic and limp, especially Dundee United. Dundee United never give Celtic a game at Tannadice. And then when we go there, it's always a really tough match for some reason. So hopefully no more than 8 points when we come out the 2nd, 3rd of January. That would be, for me, that would be a good festive period, and then start the second part of the season for me.
So your score prediction then, Ricky, and scorers. Many scorers.
I'm going to go 6-0. 4. No, I'll go 6. I'll be brave. Same as Kilmarnock, I'll go 6. And Egamani is going to score 2. Daniil is going to score. Dessers is going to score 2 and get booed after he scores each goal. And
we're bound to get a penalty tomorrow. We're bound to get a penalty.
Nah, you're right, but we don't want it. If we get a penalty, we should refuse it just in protest. Tav should just kick it over the bar and then just walk back.
Scott, do you follow that up?
Get Dessers if you'll take it. I think it'll be closer than that. I think we'll win 2-0. That's what I think we'll win. I think it'll be 2-0. I think it will be a difficult game tomorrow because Dundee need the points and they're coming to Glasgow and they know it's proper good fit against us. Tony Docherty brings his team and he sets them up okay and they try and they're dogged like I says. But I think I'll win 2-0. I think I agree with Alexander. I think Hadji will score and I think Agaman will score. And that's all we can hope for. But I agree with Ricky. We need to take every game as it comes, but we need maximum points up until the 3rd of January. And that's not going to, I'm going to say it's going to overturn the season, but it gets the players more confidence, it gets consistency going, gets morale up, and it gets the fans back more on the manager's side. If that happens, I've been critical of the manager. I think we all have to a point, but some is more than others. But I've been really critical. But if he can do that, then we can look for. All we want is to see progress, and if he does that, we can think, well, the team's actually going a bit forward. We're actually progressing. We're getting results. We're getting results we need. It's not like we were playing teams in the past. We're thinking, we're going to go to Motherwell, man. We got someone here. We're going to beat them. But we need to win the games. There's no disrespect to our teams, but these are the games we should be winning with the squad of players we've got. So just take a game as it comes. But I just want to see us playing decent football, Gary, at times. But see things happen. See changes and keep the team in the front foot like he's done. The 3 up top's changed it for him. It has. If he never made that change, I don't know if he would have still been here because I think it was getting to a point where it was very close that majority of fans wanted him away. And I was one of them. But I think making that change, and it could have been with injuries and stuff like that, but he made that change. He went for 2 holders and 1 up front to the 3. It was a bold call, but it's actually worked. So good on him for that. So we have to stick with it. I know teams maybe say, right, might play different against us because we're playing with 3 up top, but 3 up top's harder to stop, or 3 up top and 1 behind, but Hadji or Barami. That's harder to work out in just one guy. So, and we're starting to create a lot more chances. I mean, I think we were one of the lowest scores in the league not long ago, but now we're creating chances, we're getting more goals, and it's good to see again, because that's all we're looking for. We're wanting to go and see our team play well and winning games of football. Before it was, I must say it was a chore, but it was sometimes a difficult watch, like yourself, Gary, especially at home, but it's good to see the way we're playing, so I just want to keep that up and keep it going game by game and see where it takes us.
So I will go I will go 4-0. I think Tav will score because I think he's in the sort of form he is scoring goals and it usually goes in wee bursts. So I think he'll score. I'd like to see Hadji get a goal because I think he probably deserves one after his return. I would say we'll score for a corner, but it's highly unlikely, so I won't go with that. And probably Danilo and Desert off the bench score the 4th. That's what 4-0 for me, I think we'll go with. Last thing before we finish then. So it's a 125-year celebration of Ibrox tomorrow. Ricky, what's your first memory at Ibrox?
First memory was we beat Aberdeen 2-1 and I was in the West Enclosure as a young nipper in the 90s and Super Awi scored the winner and just absolutely hooked with the whole stadium. The smell walking to the ground with the burger stalls and everything, the supporters bus. I think I was about 15, maybe about 14, 15 at the time. And after that, I was just absolutely hooked up. See this season being at Hampden, it just shows you that. And I feel sorry for these clubs like West Ham and Arsenal and all that are playing in these shopping centres now. Where you've seen the Tottenham fans when they come to Ibrox, man. Ibrox is our home. I hope we never ever move. Absolutely love the place. It's been fantastic. The history, everyone says it, when you walk in. I mean, Super Awi did a great job with Peter Crouch and Glenn Hoddle when we played Spurs, and he was so excited to show the guys and the smells and the wood. And we've done a great job of keeping it traditional, but just that little bit modern. And what a fantastic place! It's our home. And we should be proud of it. We are proud of it, and it's fantastic.
Scott, yourself, and do you remember your first venture to Ibrox?
Jesus, black and white days here, man.
Rattles with the big rattles.
There was no big rattle. It was.
That's still rattle you too, man. If I can reach Gary, that is no. Listen, I remember going. I can't remember what games, but it was terracing. Big terrace, mind the goals, but then you were at the back and it was massive looking down. Do you know what I mean? When I was younger, and then the different colour seats come in, and I remember going to the wee Ranger shop in the back of the Courtland at the corner getting there for stuff, and just think I remember Cammy Fraser giving us a Vicky when we were giving him abuse, and McCoy's missing other chances, shouting at him. But one of the best atmospheres I've been at was the Aberdeen game, we won the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was amazing. I remember going up to Ibrox that day at a good 3 hours before kick-off. I can't one of the boys went up with, he didn't have a ticket, so we were certain I had a ticket this season ticket, but he didn't have a ticket, and we were searching for couldn't get one. And then obviously Hateley scores, and that was the best atmosphere I felt at that age. It was the stadium was just bouncing, do you know what I mean? Because you didn't know what way it was going to go that game, because Aberdeen were a good side then. Do you know what I mean? They were a decent side, and I think we won. But that game, you've got the Marseille game, you've got the Masunas game, it was electric. All different, do you know, it's just been different things, but just to see the stadium where it is, Gary, it's changed in a lot of different ways throughout the years, but the front is still remains the same, obviously, and that's what you look at when you go, the front of the building, the staircase, and it's just an iconic stadium, and will never change. That's the way it is, and you get the buzz going, doesn't matter who you're playing against, you get the buzz going, and you can walk around the stadium and there's a lot of free space to move. Other stadiums, old school stadiums, there's houses built and there's all different things, so you don't get that. But it's just, you always got a buzz going to football. Well, it does you a matter of opposition, you just want to go and see your side. But just the way Ibrox has changed and the atmospheres at the game. I remember used to just play and sit where you like, especially when you go to Cotland, used to sit in there and John got people like when I used to go with my uncle, my mum and stuff like that. So it's good that you still go, but I think I've sat in every stand. Do you know what I mean? Cotland, Govan, the enclosure, I'm in the Broomloan, even the main stand. I'll be up the club day, but don't go up there often. It's like, time I got up there, it's half time. I can't go up there, I'm too old to go up the stairs. But no, it's just, it's something really good. And when everybody's singing and Ibrox is bouncing, the atmosphere is incredible. I know everybody will say the same about their side, but it is incredible when everybody's on the same page. I mean, your opposition player saying it, you get our own player saying it, but you can feel it yourself. It doesn't bounce a bit like other stadiums. You're safe when it starts to bounce. You know what I mean? Look at Boca Junior Stadium, that's the way it's with the fans, but it's just amazing when it's bouncing. Everybody's singing to the same tune, and it's just a good feeling when that happens. So, no, I think here's another 125 years, do you know that way? Because I think no matter, we'll not be here, but the stadium's always going to be there and the team's always going to be there. So, just hope we see a lot of it before we're not here anymore.
What about you, Gary?
So, do you know, I was thinking there, my first game was Rangers played Hibs in a League Cup semi-final. They were 2-0 down for the first leg, and David Cooper scored a free kick.
I'll get that game. Alan Ruff is in goals for Hibs.
Alan Ruff was in goals. That was my first thing. Must have been 10-year-old. First game at Ibrox. I remember it just.
Your first goal, I remember that.
Aye. So I just remember sitting in the main stand and like you, been in every bit of the stadium. That Aberdeen game you're talking about, I tried to climb over the turnstile, didn't get in. I had to go to the grapes, and they're probably drunk as I've ever been at a football game. I don't remember anything about the rest of that night. Probably most of the weekend after that. It was one of those games you just would desperately see. But and I think I went back to the grapes, watching the TV, and it wait for my uncles and that to come out afterwards, and we drunk, celebrated that title when Gaza scored the hat-trick. So no, it's an amazing venue. It's great. You know, you'll be the same. When you went with your kids, you take your kids up, they get that same adrenaline buzz of walking into Ibrox Stadium. So that's what it's all about. It's passed through generations and stuff that goes with it.
That's you go to football, not just to see the team, but you go because I go with my sisters and my niece and nephew and brother-in-law. So you're seeing folk you might not see through the week, but you're seeing them at the football. Do you know what I mean? So it's to catch up with family. And my son used to come, it doesn't come anymore. And my mum used to go, but she doesn't go anymore. So it's stuff like that where everybody's went to their family at one point, but people keep going. I've got mates that used to go, but they've moved away. So it's you're still there, but you're there. Even though they're not there, but you're there in a way. You're saying, well, they're there with me. Do you know what I mean? Even though I'm not hearing them, but they're there with me. So it's just, it's good. And I say I'm not going to be there tomorrow because it's my granddaughter's birthday. So, which I'm not going to be first away because she's turning 1. But
that's more important thing to time as well.
I still hate missing the football, so I'll be keeping an eye on the game. But
some of the players, guys, I mean, some of the players that has graced that stadium. I mean, you're going on about Davy Cooper. I'm jealous that you've got to see that guy live because he was an absolute. I mean, what a player he was. You know, I got to see Gaza and Waldrop and when I stayed in Scotland with my season ticket and that, watching them every week, you took it for so much granted, but it was such a privilege watching these guys, and even your Scottish players like McCoist and Richard Gough and Ian Ferguson and Ian Durrant and players of Hateway, all the English players that we've seen. I mean, we've been blessed. We've been blessed over the years. Okay, the club's been in a bad place for a long time now, and we need to get back to that glory years again. But we were lucky that we've had some great memories and we've seen some great games at the stadium over the years. You know.
One of my favourite players growing up who I really like, David Cooper was obvious because everybody liked David Cooper and he stood out, but Bobby Russell. I love Bobby Russell. I used to always think if Bobby Russell plays well, we're going to win because he was that type of player. He was signing for Shelton Juniors, do you know what I mean? Imagine that happening. But Bobby Russell was amazing. John McLaren was signing him, Northern Ireland captain at the time. Robert Fleck, I think he was a Swedish internationalist when he signed him. I mean, Gregor Stevens, he always getting sent off. I think he gets sent off more than he played. But that was a game against Aberdeen when Aberdeen fans got kept in because the referee was brutal. I think they eventually won that match, if I remember. But the stadium is going nuts because I think Hugh Burns gets sent off. I can't remember, I think somebody else gets sent off. But you just remember so many different games. And back then, the team wasn't great under Greg and then Wallace. But when Souness came in, everything just changed. You know what I mean? We went from being a team that was finishing third and fourth, maybe in the cup finals, but never really challenging for the title. And then Souness came in, it just went, and we're signing an English internationalists galore and guys like that, and you're thinking, my God, what's happening here? And then we won the league at Trodden, and it just kicked off, and it's just, now we're back at the other end of the scale, but it's just the transformation through the years, and the stadium's done it, but the players as well, somebody mentioned Craig Patterson, Dave McPherson. And I lived above Dave McPherson for a few years when he first joined Rangers, and Big Davey. I think he was he at Rangers twice, or was it Hearts?
Twice, he was there twice. As soon as got rid of him straight away, then Smith brought back a couple of years later, if I remember rightly.
He also played fullback, couldn't he?
He did most games. So I think we've been on for a while. We might continue this discussion offline, but I'm sure you've all other things to do. It's maybe a podcast another day, maybe during some sort of break. We'll maybe talk about some of these things in a bit more detail. Who said we were going to struggle to cover an hour on a topic, an hour and a quarter in? Although it's been a slow news week, there's clearly been plenty to talk about. So
told you.
So hopefully we have a good win tomorrow. We will be back on Monday night, I think. Scott, we come back Monday night.
A few guys are. I'll be back, but a few guys are. And just at the last time, we've got a visitor for the other side. Welcome aboard, mate. Thanks for your view. No, we'll back Monday night. No matter what the score is, we'll back Monday night. Talk about Rangers. If everybody wants to join us, you're more than welcome. But us, the usually here talking our nonsense and having a laugh and a joke because that's what it's all about. Just talk about your team and having a laugh along the way.
I'll be here gloating after we win 6-0 and so we'll be here for sure.
Please, thanks everyone watching. Thanks for contributing, giving all your comments. It's really interesting seeing some of the people that are telling about their games, etc. Like and subscribe, as we say these things, and enjoy your weekend. And as we head towards Christmas, stay safe, get all the shopping done, watch the Rangers, and we'll see you on Monday night. Take care.